So we decided we were going to do L53 for our next standard. And on here, I broke it down. I have the targets.
Okay.
So we need to kind of think through how this is going to unfold. And I know when to expand a sentence, I know when to combine a sentence, and I know what sentence variety affects style.
Okay.
So the next step is, what are we going to see the students doing if they're meeting the targets? That's where we need to start.
So we're going to need to look at their writing to see what kind of variety they have and make sure it's not monotonous.
Okay, so let me type this out as you're talking. Okay.
Because they have a good I feel like they have a good foundation for knowing the difference in a simple, compound, and complex. And we've talked about the flow of writing. It's just a matter of can they self-assess to make sure that their writing flows, and are they using simple sentences for a certain reason or complex sentences? And
okay, so you think they have the groundwork, but you think they need to be able to reflect on their own writing.
Right.
Okay,
I
so
think that's our weak spot.
Okay, so what would that look like if we were doing a formative assessment? How would we know that they could or could not reflect?
Well, we could use a self-checking, like a checklist for them to look at their own writing, or a peer checklist. But at some point or another, we're going to need to look and talk to them individually. I think it helps if they could read it out loud.
Okay.
To us or to a partner. But we're going to need to look at it.
Okay. So what would it be in there if we were going to have them self-assess? What are we really asking them to do?
Well, are they expanding? Are they combining? And do they have a sentence variety in order to, I don't know, make their writing... Can they talk through the different sentence varieties that they've used in their paragraph? I don't know, through those power rights. Or can they revise to do so and talk through that?
And know when they need to do it, when they don't need to do it. Because we've talked about a lot that whatever you're teaching, they sort of overgeneralize. They're like, I'm going to do this 100 times because it's what the teacher wants.
That time I had them do, like, underline a simple, underline a compound, and underline a complex. Well, then they got so obsessed with, I need to have one simple, one compound, and one complex, that they lost the whole idea that I was trying to get across.
Okay, so it's not a matter of just saying... I expanded a sentence, I combined a sentence. It's actually, we have to make them reflective about it.
Which is something that we've never...
Right, this is the next step on this standard. So I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about, I'm going to go back to these questions that were in this Common Core Grammar book. And I'm going to go back to this. So I wonder if we could somehow change this language so that it's more user-friendly for the kids.
An excellent understanding of the grammatical concept.
And how the grammatical concept can improve a piece of writing.
So almost a before and after. I mean, especially if they revise tomorrow.
Okay, so talk about that some more, before and after.
Well, that's what we did a few weeks ago when we were going through the other... we were talking about writing an interesting introduction. I had them write a paragraph, and then the next day we talked about different introduction strategies. And so we did a before and after revealing, where they read their before and they read their after, and they told me what strategy they used and how it made their introduction stronger.
Okay, so I'm going to take what you just said, but instead of saying how their introduction made it stronger, did your sentence formation.
And that way I could hear them self-reflect out loud. And then we were able to do that with their conclusions, but they did it at each table. And so I was able to walk around and listen to them talk to their peers about what they did to improve their writing and how that helped.
Okay. So first they're going to reflect. Now what I've done here, I'm actually moving down to learning activities, because we kind of know what we want them to do.
Okay.
And we know what we're going to be looking for, but what you're actually describing is the actual activities that they're going to do. So I'm going to type it down here.
Okay.
So before, they will reflect on their writing and determine what types of sentences they are using, and if they need to revise to make their writing stronger. Okay. Now, let's go back up and let's think about this checklist again real quick. So if it's a self-assessment, what's their question going to be to themselves?
It needs to meet the target that we talked about.
Okay, so let's go back up to the target. I mean, the targets are reflection questions, really.
Yeah. Can I combine, or am I able to combine in a sentence, or is that too?
Can I? Do I need to?
That's true. They may not need to. And if you do or don't, can you justify or can you talk through why you think?
Okay, so I'm gonna do a table right here because I see a table. I've seen it even the other day when we were talking through this. Mm-hmm. I see a like types of sentences. Mm-hmm. And what did you just say? Do I need to revise and why? Mm-hmm. Do I need to revise them and why? If they can answer, those are high-level thinking questions. If they can articulate why they need to revise or not, they're going to be able to show us that they understand the grammatical concept or not, and they're going to be able to, we're going to know that they understand that they're doing it stylistically.
Okay.
Okay, so where do you think the gap's going to be?
Well,
where's our misconceptions? Where are they going to need the scaffolding?
I think a lot of them are going to focus so much on, I only have simple sentences, and I need to change all the simple to compound or complex, because a simple sentence isn't good.
Okay.
And I'm also thinking, we've gone over it and we've talked about it, and we can talk through what a simple, compound, complex, and when those are used and when they're not. But will they actually be able to apply those concepts to their own writing?
Okay. So that goes back to, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but this is going to go back to our learning activities then. So what you're saying is they're going to think simple isn't good, or they're going to be trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So what they're going to need to see is a model of what it would look like for a real writer to reflect.
Right.
Okay, so that sounds like we need to model that. So I'm going to put model, think aloud. Mm-hmm. What types of sentences makes a good... I don't like that. Makes writing.
Or make it flow, or make it...
Let's go back up to the standard.
Okay.
Makes writing... let's try that. Let's pull that part of the target. I know that sentence writing affects style, and that can be the way we sort of reflect.
Okay.
Let me think how we'd say that. Think a lot about what types of sentence makes writing...
like expresses the style of writing, or whatever that standard is, that 5-4 that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. Am I meeting the purpose, or is my style, something like that? Think about it.
Okay, so you're combining standards there. So now you're getting into, well, if whatever type of writing I'm writing is going to affect my sentence structure. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a whole nother dimension. I hadn't even thought about that, but that's really true.
Yeah.
Because like you talked about last week, Hatchett had very simple sentences, but they did that on purpose. Or he did that on purpose.
Is that too much for now?
I think it's too much for today.
Okay.
I think it's too much for this week and for this right now. But I think that's where you should head next, definitely. I think that's actually...
Because next 9 weeks was going to be, we got to do some kind of research and the 5 paragraph rather than... and that'll help for that, I think. Think a lot about what types of sentences expresses...
I think what's throwing us off is how I've typed it in. Think aloud about how sentence variety affects style.
Okay.
I think we should just keep it simple. How sentence...
Okay, as far as the modeling goes, do I need to show, because I did the, I have a paragraph that I wrote, or should they be able to look at a piece from one of their texts?
What do you think?
I almost think if they were able to see me do it with my writing, then it's genuine. Because they saw me writing yesterday.
They did, yeah.
And they asked me about it yesterday. Did Miss Clark grade your writing? No.
Nor did I grade theirs.
They thought it was funny that you told me to keep writing.
Okay, so let's go back up to our table up here. The types of sentences, do I need to revise and why? Do you think that you could use your writing and just work through those questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to self-reflect.
You need to self-reflect on your writing. Okay, so if that's your modeling and that's your think aloud, and then we know that they're going to do that on their own writing, they're going to reflect on their own writing, look at the types of sentences they use, think about if they need to revise and why. What's our end product? Our end product will be, do you think that we should have them list the sentences in the table, or do you think that we should just have them do it on a sticky note, or how do you think we should indicate it?
I don't want them to overdo it and then they miss the purpose. I don't know. Maybe the sticky note thing might work. Because we haven't done that in a while.
Okay.
Rather than having to write off the sentence. I don't know. We could try.
Yeah. Okay, so you're thinking they're going to read their paper, they're going to analyze their sentences, and maybe just mark maybe a place where they've done it well, and maybe a place where they would revise? Or
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And say, why do you think that's a good sentence, or why did that style work, and then, where can I revise?
Okay.
A spot on each.
Okay. All right, I think that's good. Now, let's think about what we need to do then before the lesson. We're going to have to think through, or you are going to have to think through your writing.
Right.
And we need to create some sort of actual self-assessment on a piece of paper for them, to look at with our I can statements. Maybe I can work on the I can statements.
Okay.
And get that lined out, and maybe, you can work on your own.
I'll pre-self-reflect. That way I can be ready for it.
Okay.
Be ready for tomorrow.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. Let's do it.